we'll talk about the importance of why I get why. Hold on a second here. Okay, I'm officially on. Okay, let's mute that. Okay, and boom. Got it. Okay, we are good. We are good.
Boom. And where are we broadcasting live to? Is it through
Twitch. We are on
It's going
Twitch
through
right now.
Twitch? Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. So yeah, Twitch and Zoom, big brother, little brother relationship. Big brother wants to beat up the little brother, and the little brother wants to beat up the big brother. And then once in a while, the little brother wins, right?
It's all
Hi,
good.
everybody. Welcome to our little stream tonight. Me and Bill are going to be drawing and talking. And
Yeah.
we mentioned.
Oh, I see you guys out there. All right.
Yeah.
Josh has got his what do you got? Tea, coffee?
Coffee. That's
coffee?
my drinking. I have
right,
to
that's
admit,
good.
I haven't really made a proper. My dad's a naturopath, so he a proper tea. That's
right.
That right means like
I'm not a
sleeping.
I'm not a tea guy anyway. I'm not much of a tea guy. I always want to be because
I forgot to show you. This is the other character I created. What do you think?
Cool. A little closer. Make it a little bit bigger. A little bit bigger.
Yeah, let's see if we can figure out how to do
that. You can hold it close to there you go. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, I remember when we started out, man. It's like your structures are getting more solid. The characters are having more personality. Yeah, I like to see the progress. I like to see it's all about the process. It's 100% process.
Yeah, no, it totally is. It's also just about. I had like drawing has given me a lot of epiphanies, and honestly, a lot of epiphanies. And one of them is that you don't actually have to be good, and that's something it's weird. It's given me more confidence as an artist outside of drawing, which is funny, right?
No, that's actually really cool. I mean, that's a really great point because there's a lot of things that I took from, I quote unquote, a real job, right? Because there was a time, there was about a 5 or 6 year period, like right around year 2000, where I had to not step away from art, but I had to have a day job on top of art because my kid was very small. I needed a steady paycheck. But you know what? All the things that I learned at that job, it was a retail job. It wasn't, like save the world or anything. But all the skills that I picked up working at that job and learning how to deal with people and learning how to, that whole environment teaches you a whole different bag of tricks.
Absolutely. No, but see, for me, it gave me confidence in a way that I don't think. I notice like as artists, people get very self-conscious. I don't have that problem. If anything, I might be too confident, which is the opposite problem. Maybe I'm just trying to compensate for something. I don't know. But
that's good though, because I was so self-conscious. It's like, yeah, I mean, that's such a big for real thing. I think that's creative people in general. That proves that you're a creative person just because have that thing.
But the thing is, I've learned, one of the things I've learned, right, with this whole thing is, you don't have to be good. And and people will hear that and go, what do you mean by that? It's like, you don't actually have to be good. And once you have that like revelation,
right,
I'll give you an example. My sister is one of the most talented artists I know. If she was on right now, she would probably deny it, right? right? But I don't say this to sell myself short, but at least when it comes to that kind of thing, she's way more talented than I am, and that's
got you
right, and that's a great thing. But I think, and I say this with no like false bravado, I think I'm braver than she is, right?
Being brave is that because if you can't, it's almost like when somebody sees you, say, promoting yourself or promoting your art or promoting the thing that you do, whatever it happens to be. Like if you can't cheerlead yourself a little bit, like who else are you going to convince to do it with you or for you? You have to have some base level confidence to put yourself out there in the first place. It takes a little bravery because you don't know how people are going to respond to what you do,
Well, we'll see it,
you
and
know?
I've gotten kind of to the next level with that too. Is I've actually, again,
Mhm.
this is gonna sound counterintuitive, but I almost don't give a shit, right? And this is,
Most of my life is counterintuitive, so fire away.
yeah.
Right?
No, I don't give a shit. You know what I mean? But no, I want people to like my work. I don't want people to
It
misunderstand
that's
that.
that's a combination thing. You say that, that reminded me of what somebody was saying. I forgot who it was now.
Hmm.
But they were talking about an artist or a musician, when you're doing what it is you do, if you say that you're doing it only, like only specifically, unless you know, like you happen to be like an entertainer,
Yeah.
that's the mindset that you choose to be in. When you say you're only doing it for the audience, that's doesn't ring true.
No,
It's you do it for yourself,
absolutely.
and but that sounds selfish, right? That sounds
I
wrong
oh
too. That
I
sounds super duper selfish, but I understand. And he pointed it out. You actually do your best work. It's for your fans' biggest benefit that you do it for yourself because you do your best work when you're doing it for yourself. So they're
absolutely.
actually getting your best. And
Yeah.
you know, so it sounds sometimes the way things are phrased, it sounds backwards,
Well,
but
because
it
people are like,
actually works
oh,
out.
because I want to share something, right? I want to share
It's a
because obviously
mhm,
if you're doing this, you've got
mhm.
something. It takes a certain audacity to do this because you have to. It
Yeah.
does. It
I'm gonna do
does.
something and it's like I hope to God you got I mean in my mind I'm like I hope to God they like it, right?
Yeah,
But
sure.
you're presenting yourself as like you're missing out if you don't see this.
Yeah, that's
Like
it, right?
I'm here for your benefit. And it's like that just seems like such a chip on my shoulder to kind of present myself that way. But I like what you said about like the fact that you don't have to be good at certain
Oh
things
God, no. Oh
to
God, no.
no,
I
no,
think
because well, as a musician, nobody. I mean, I was a top level. I mean, not to brag or anything, but I was a top level in high school. You know, high school, college. I
yeah.
was a top level tuba player in an orchestra setting. Okay, so
Hmm.
but no, nobody wants a tuba player in their rock band. So you know, I play keyboard, and I play it badly. Everything I play, and my daughter jokes me too, because Kat is like it doesn't really matter what music I write. It either sounds like video game music from the 80s or it sounds like porn music. Like there's some balance that I'm that's like in my brain, I'm Zimmerman, dude. I'm cooking. I'm just
Sure.
like, dude, this is like the biggest orchestra. There's a timpani back there. You know, it's like I think I'm rocking out. And I know for sure it's just video game music that I just made. It's just
Hey,
some 8-bit.
hey, listen. First off, video game music is fucking awesome. I so
Oh,
one
oh,
of
it
one of
is.
my
It is.
one.
But there's awesome video game music, and then there's my video game music,
Oh,
and
that's
she's just
fair.
telling
That's
me
fair.
that I'm leaning my bad keyboard playing in that direction is what I'm saying.
No, no, and that's fair. I'm not. Like I said, if I sang, people would give me money to stop. Not so much to.
Oh, same here. I mean, dude, it's like hands down. It would have to be really late at a bar
Oh, I'll no.
with like three dudes that were too weak and too drunk to stop me. You know,
That's right. It's like can't do it.
it's like, all right, let's listen to Bill's version of Jump, but he's doing it sad on a piano. The fuck, you know, what the hell is going on?
You turned it into a country song, Bill. What the
I know.
hell?
Why did you do that?
Yeah, exactly. But actually,
My one question between beers is why?
but that's the thing. Like, I've seen genuinely good
Hmm.
people
Uh-huh.
freeze at their work, and to me, and I realize
Mhm.
like, okay, yes, I admit it. I have an ego, but I do, and I acknowledge the ego. But I also realize, look, I'm a big pro wrestling fan. Like, I'm a
Okay.
huge pro wrestling fan.
I
Okay,
got you. I got you.
and,
That used
and
to be
one
my
of the,
thing. That used to be my
yeah,
thing back in the day. Yeah. I mean, I
yeah,
understand that.
yeah.
Yeah.
But the thing is, so my favorite wrestler of all time is Macho Man Randy Savage, right? I think I
Bonesaw is ready.
yes, exactly. But so I realized though, why did Randy Savage succeed? I mean, he wasn't the biggest, he wasn't the toughest. I mean, but in
He
a
got me to
world,
he got me to snap into a Slim Jim.
They totally did. That definitely that definitely didn't hurt his cause. I mean,
Performance, man, performance, man. The character that he made was so cool. I come from the era. I come from the Ricky Steamboat,
yeah.
Ric Flair, Dusty Rhodes era. Okay,
Well,
so
then
that's so
you must.
Randy, the Randy Savage fits right in
Oh
with
yeah, no,
Rick.
no. Well, the cool thing about Savage is he fits into any era of wrestling. He really
He
does.
does. He does. No, he's
Yeah,
timeless. He's timeless.
yeah, yeah.
And the
Right,
fact
right,
that he
right.
ended up in a Spider-Man movie, that just like
That's
cherry
awesome,
on top. Thanks. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That
right?
was a nice little extra.
Right. But the thing is, he believed in who he was, and that's
Oh,
really the
for sure. Yeah. Yeah.
I look at, so my favorite wrestling promo of all time. There's two of them. Scott
Uh-huh.
Steiner's Steiner Math, which is just amazing. If
Uh-huh.
you've never seen it, you need to see it. It is the funniest thing you will ever see. It hurts the brain, but
Uh-huh.
if you go with it, it is one of the most fun things you'll ever see in your life. It's hilarious. But the second one is Macho Man had said a promo back in the 80s after WrestleMania 3 when Steamboat beat him for the Intercontinental title. And it's called "The
Okay.
Cream Will Always Rise to the Top." It is the dumbest promo I've ever seen in my life.
Right,
It is
right, right.
right. You remember it? I think
You say
you're right.
when the cream rises to the top, yeah, it's like that. I got a flashback,
Yeah, you got a flashback, right?
a
Because
little bit of PTSD, but yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, no, but
It's
that's
good.
part.
It's good. It's good and cringe, but it's more good than cringe. So
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's a
it
little.
makes me happy. It's cringy, but it makes me happy. So it's like, what do you do?
Yeah,
It's like,
but the thing is, you know why it works? I
huh,
actually I thought about why did that work, and it occurred to me it only worked for one reason and one
hmm,
reason only,
hmm,
because Savage believed it. That's why it worked. It didn't work
yeah,
for
yeah.
any other reason.
Hmm.
So otherwise, I mean, that's why the Ultimate Warrior works. Like the Ultimate Warrior is an
Hmm.
exercise in killing brain cells. So listen to him. It really is. But right, but he believed. He so believed in what he was doing
Uh-huh.
that people just gave it to him. You
Hmm.
know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah,
because
yeah.
right, that's art. That is the whole game of art.
Hmm. Yep, yep.
Artists get in their own way. It's not about being good.
Oh, artists get in their own way all the time. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, right,
That's
yeah,
part of
right.
that's I feel like that's almost part of the process at this point. That it's
Yeah, no,
just
you gotta learn how to. Yeah,
that sort of proves that you're in the field
yeah. Oh yeah,
after
absolutely,
all. Yeah, yeah.
absolutely. To some degree,
It bounces back and forth. I mean, it's like you have to believe in yourself. You have to have a certain amount of ego, but there is a limit. You can overcorrect,
oh no,
and
no, no. Okay.
yeah, you can go too far. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Absolutely,
There's
absolutely.
limits to everything. There's moderation in everything. So,
Well, here's the thing. The ego.
mm,
Here's where you need your ego. Your ego needs to go in two spots. Your
mm.
price point and putting your work out there.
Well,
Never
see,
ever,
when I
never
was a
ever.
kid, actually I say when I was a kid, but it's like let's say between the era of, let's say, going to college, getting out of college, that sort of
Okay,
specific
sure.
time in your life, and between that time and the time that I actually started getting my first actual paid gigs to do artwork for comics and this and that. um that's one of the hardest things in the world, was trying to put a price on your art and then sticking by it, because, oh, this is how much it's worth. But then you have to take into consideration, because there's a couple of guys, there have been people throughout, the history of your time here on this earth, um that they price things like, you can't price artwork like you price a retail item, or you price, you know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
like,
not entirely. Right.
yeah, it's hard because there is a supply demand. There is a that X factor of desirability for, like, do people want this type of artwork, or this particular character, or that particular drawing? There's a lot of things that give it value, and there's a lot of things that would take value away from it.
Away from it. Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
It goes
so
both ways.
right, right. So I just remember there was this one time, this particular artist. I'm not going to drop any names because
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
mean.
Whatever.
It's just a life lesson that I learned for myself. I mean, it's like he actually taught me something that day. So, so I took away a positive from this. It's not a negative situation. It's just a situation
Yeah.
where you're learning something, right? So he drew, like, I don't know, like a big two page, uh, big pinup with large characters, and these are like popular characters that are like, Marvel DC-ish type characters. And because he spent specifically a certain amount of time drawing it, and you can see that it took a long time to draw it.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
he's charging like he's a construction worker. It's like, I work for 20 bucks an hour and I can't charge less than this or else I can't afford to even do this, which makes sense on a lot of different levels. If
Sure.
you think about it straightforward like that. But the drawing itself, it was not something, it's like I look at it, I'm just, or I would say people in general would look at it and it's like, well, for this much money, it's like, yeah, it would be like a cool thing. But for this much money, kind of, and then he was charging like through the roof for it because it was, took him a certain amount of time.
Yep.
And for the characters that it was and the way that it looked or whatever the X factor is that people consider. And you have to know, you have to have some situational awareness of what your
Sure.
audience is thinking. Oh, that's something I paid this much money for. And that's actually the hardest thing to do, I think, is because you don't really decide. I've noticed that I don't decide myself what my rate is. It's everybody else. You know what I mean? If I price it
I
this, if I price it like this, nobody buys it. And actually, I've noticed that if I price it too low, also nobody buys it. There's
that's
this
yeah.
there's this range, and it depends for what it is. There's so many different variables, and learning what that is and learning how to price your stuff, um, it's hard. It's actually really hard. It takes a lot of trial and error to figure out, you know.
The only thing I would say to that is I would rather go too high than too low.
Oh, of course, because you could
Right?
always
We
be
got
talked down. If it came down to it, you could do the old negotiating, buying a house thing or something. It's like, oh well.
well, absolutely no, no. But my very first freelance job,
Mhm.
my very very first one, I was supposed to actually help run a Kickstarter campaign.
Gotcha.
You're gonna cringe when I tell you what the price point was on that. I'm not gonna
Okay.
mention the name because I ended up backing out. Just something just told me,
Right.
alarm bells, get the fuck out, right?
Right. Right.
But 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 the initial price was he was only going to give me a percentage of the campaign,
Okay.
right? That sounds good in theory, right? But then you realize that
Mhm.
I'm the one doing all the work on the campaign. That's what he
Oh,
wants.
you're doing all the work, and then you have. Do you think you have an idea if it's going to be the type of campaign that is going to make a couple $1,000, or if it's going to make ten or $20,000, or is it going to be something that kind of falls in the $300 where it's like a percentage could be great if it's going to be
Absolutely.
something that you have an idea that maybe it's going to do a certain amount of money, but yeah, it could be.
Okay, but here's where it gets tricky. This is where it gets
Mm-hmm.
really really tricky, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because one of the things I've again going back to that belief thing,
Uh-huh.
if the creator doesn't believe in their work,
Right.
right, they're
Mm-hmm.
not going to talk about it. If they're not going to talk about it,
Mm-hmm.
it's a subconscious thing, but people notice that stuff, right?
Yes.
It's one of those
Mm-hmm.
things where, hey, I'm not talking about my work.
Right.
Okay, why are you not talking about your work? Because now that becomes a question.
Right.
And if the answer is, hey, I'm uncomfortable, well, that's a
Mm-hmm.
strike against you a little bit because if you're uncomfortable talking about your work,
Mm-hmm.
why would anyone believe? Again, this goes back to that whole belief thing.
Well, it does.
There
Why would I be excited about it if you're like sort of embarrassed about it? You're
yeah,
the guy making
exactly.
it. You know what I mean? It's
So so
I'm supposed to be
so
so excited that I'm going to spend my money to buy it. That's actually the highest form of appreciation that a person can offer
yeah,
anyway. You know.
exactly. Exactly. So here's the other thing too. So about
Mhm.
that particular campaign,
Uh-huh.
so right, there were red flags that were coming about that I personally was worried about.
Okay.
And because I was personally worried about them,
Mhm.
right? I realized that okay, these are little things, but there are a lot of little things adding up here. So if I'm putting my time and effort into this,
Mhm.
and I'm only going to get a couple $100 out of it,
Right. Right. Right.
right? I'm not like if I like okay, this is like if I like you, Bill, but if I were to do your campaign for you, I would
Mhm.
charge a very high amount of money. Not because
It's a lot of work.
it's that's just it.
It
It's
would
a
be it would be insulting for me to not pay you what you should get paid for the amount of work that needs to be
yeah,
done. You know what I mean? It's like
yeah,
that's me taking
yeah.
advantage of you at that point.
Yeah, exactly. So once I realized that, I had to
Mm,
really like, is he serious enough? The client I'm talking about,
right.
right? Is he serious enough?
Hmm.
And I concluded no. So I bailed. I just bailed because I
Right.
just said to myself,
Hmm.
you know what? I can't do it. I just,
Right.
all right, I have to walk away from this because if I don't walk away from this, I am gonna. So, temp number one here at Miss Nira. What do you think?
Ah, cool, cool, cool.
Temp number one.
Classic with their classic costume. I love it.
Yeah. No, yeah, I decided to do that. So folks, it's just it's Phil's character number one, number two. I think I've
Mhm.
done her better. I could be wrong, but I think she's better now than when I drew her in the past. And again, it's about how far we come too. So
She's looking solid. That's awesome.
yeah, a solid Naira. Not a perfect Naira, but a solid Naira. And I'll take a solid. I'll do more in just a
But
second. I
you,
just want to
but
finish.
you know what? I never draw a perfect Nira either. So it's like
Exactly.
I'm every time I draw her, or every time I draw one of the side characters, I'm always thinking to myself, okay, I'll do it better next time, or a cooler pose, or a cooler thing, or a cooler. Yeah, that's the way that always goes.
Yeah, legit. Like
Hmm.
I enjoy you guys are committed because again, Naira's a fun buck and she's a fun character, and
Mm.
yeah. So it's just like, and like I said, I'm doing a graphic novel on my Patreon. I'm scared to death. Like you saw the first character I created for that already, right? I sent that to
Cool,
you,
cool. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
right as a thank you. So for those you know, anybody that did my drinks and draws over the years actually got a
Mhm.
sneak peek of this because I've come a long way from designing, like copying everything else and trying to figure out shapes to actually,
Mhm.
coming up with my own characters. And you, I owe your daughter a thank you as well. Ironically,
Cool,
her first
cool.
lesson is a one of her lessons on here. The one time she was on here was
Uh,
invaluable.
good, good.
Yeah, so tell her thank you from me to
I
her.
will. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah, because but yeah, like going back like confidence, it's confidence, right? So
Hmm.
pricing, but the lesson I learned there was I was pricing myself too low
Uh-huh.
because if that individual had more skin in the game,
Right,
I would have been treated differently.
right,
And
right.
that's something I realized. It was
Hmm.
my very first lesson. If so, I'm going to choose between pricing myself too high out of the market or
Hmm.
pricing myself too low.
Right, right,
I
right.
would rather price myself too high
Yeah,
because
never purposely
it,
price yourself too low. I had an experience doing conventions. I sell original artwork at conventions when I go. So I had a this is where I learned about that whole pricing things too low thing.
yeah.
So I had a portfolio of artwork that I'd had for a while. They're smaller pieces and like different sizes, and they weren't really like flagship title characters or like like side characters and side pieces and
Hmm.
backgrounds and just a good mix of things, but not the kind of stuff that people looking for me at a show would be like, oh, do you happen to have this? It's that palm tree that you drew on page 5. It's like, yeah, why would you want that?
Exactly.
So it's a stack of art like that. And I basically put like $5 on each of those little pieces of art, right? So I got the impression because people didn't they flipped through it a little bit, but they were just like, it's got like $5 on it. That means something wrong with it, right?
Yeah.
This is your trash bin, obviously. So I don't want to even really give it that much value in my head. So they just went for like my normal stuff, which is great. Um, but I learned that it's like nobody wanted to look at it. I was thinking people would pick through the $5 stuff and be like, "Oh, cool! I could get a bunch of stuff if I want," or $5, like an impulse buy. Like even if I don't like it, I'll probably pick it up because it was like something to buy from the show or
Oh yeah.
something like that. So I had to price it back to where I thought it was appropriate, somewhere between 20, 40, 60 for whatever
Yeah.
the thing happened to be. Um, and they sold just fine.
Oh
It was
yeah.
just like, presentation is everything, So
Oh no, absolutely. So, well, I wouldn't say everything, but it is definitely the
it's
thing I think
big.
if you, yeah,
Right, right, right.
yeah,
It's big.
yeah.
And
Because if you don't have that, what tends to happen is people won't even look at you. Now you gotta have
right,
substance
right.
with your you gotta have substance with your presentation because if you don't, Oh
Yeah,
God.
you can't show up confident and nothing behind it.
Yeah. I
Because
see.
they'll see that too. I mean, it's a combination of things, so
Yeah,
the
but
bad part, I think what you're trying to do with the point or the advice that you're trying to get across is, don't show up with, what it is you do, right? Whatever it is, whatever, everybody listening does something different. For us, it's art or music or something on a creative field like that. Don't come to it and then have no self-confidence behind it. It's like you're already bringing like the art as best as you can. So it's not like you're trying to slack off with your
no.
content, but but without some self-confidence behind it. And plus, you know what people could see too is whether or not you love it, whether or
Yeah.
not you enjoy it. You know how many bad movies I like to watch because I could tell they
Yeah.
had fun making it.
Oh yeah. Oh no.
You know,
There's
it's
there is something about that. Like look, like
Yeah, I mean, you could
you
tell they had a blast. That was
yeah,
like 2 years of their life making this film, and you could tell they had like a ton of fun making it.
absolutely.
So it made it fun to watch, even
Yeah.
though like there's like a list of bad movies.
Oh no. Well, okay. Here there are some rules to this. Like some movies are
Hmm.
just bad for sake of bad. For example, I
Oh,
will.
yeah, yeah, those are out there too.
Yeah. Like for example, there is only one Highlander movie. There is only one, and I will not hear anything else from anybody
That's
about
because they're
that.
sticking to a theme.
Yeah. Yes.
So there can only be one that's good that you want to watch.
Well. The thing is, if there were more than one that was good, I would. But unfortunately, that's not.
So
I.
supposedly Henry Cavill's going to be doing one, right? That's going to be the next thing. That's what I kept on hearing.
You know what? If anybody can, oh, God bless him. That's all I'm gonna say.
Hey,
God bless him.
if they got him doing it, and that increases my confidence level.
Hey, listen, it doesn't decrease it. I'll say
No,
that.
no,
Right? It
no.
doesn't decrease it. But what I am saying is like I sincerely hope that they've learned their lessons and
Yeah,
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 yeah.
because if they haven't, well, this I mean the
They'll still
Highlander
well, they'll still be on theme, and there will still only be one.
yeah, exactly right. But no, like Evil Dead's my favorite example of a bad movie because it like objectively speaking,
Uh-huh.
it's not great, but
Mhm.
that's because you could tell they didn't have the budget. They just did not have the budget for it,
Yeah,
right?
sometimes you're held back. I mean,
Yeah,
it's like by
yeah,
something you can't control that. So
yeah. So, but the movie is so much fun anyway, right?
uh-huh.
That's the thing about the movie is it's legitimately ridiculously fun, right? So it's like I look at it and can kind of look at it and go, hey, listen, this is without a doubt like one of those movies where you can look at it and go, oh wow, this is super cool, right? And even though it doesn't have everything, there are some effects that make me laugh for not the reasons they want me to laugh. Let's leave it at that,
Right, right,
right?
sure.
Right. But I also can say, hey, listen, we're making a movie we love. We can see it. Like we're making something we are loving the whole way through, and that's pretty badass, right? And it's a fun movie. Now, is it my favorite? No. Is it great? Is it the greatest thing I've ever seen? Absolutely not. But
But you
I
enjoy
can,
it, you
yeah,
know.
I can enjoy it because I can also see again something you just point out. The heart of something like that
Mhm.
cannot be cannot be ignored, right? So,
Exactly.
right, and that's the thing. Like, you don't have again. We don't something I've gotten older. So I'm hoping wiser. We'll see. Like I said, I don't know if I've gotten wiser in my old age or I've just gotten a little simplistic in my older age. But one of the things I've realized
Uh-huh.
is I don't need I don't need Shakespeare every single time. That doesn't mean I don't. Sometimes I
Well,
want sometimes I want it, but
I that see, I don't understand people that expect to get steak every single time.
yeah,
Sometimes you're gonna want some Taco Bell,
that's right.
you know?
Well,
It's
here's
like it's not gonna be Schindler's List every time, man. It's not gonna be like
yeah,
this
yeah,
big award-winning sometimes I just want Independence Day. I just want to shoot things, or
You, you,
it's like,
I just want I just want the good guy. I just want the good guy to beat the bad guy. That's what I want.
yeah,
I don't want anything more complicated than that. And you know what? Well, that's fine, right? We don't need a okay, not quite a nose, but
I come from an era, my childhood. I don't know. I don't know where I don't know where our ages fall. I don't know where our
I'm 42, just so
you're
you know.
42, so you're not that far off. I'm 54.
Yeah,
So it's like not too terribly far off. But I
no,
come from a time when, like, when the new Arnold Schwarzenegger movie was coming out,
yeah,
or the new Van Damme movie was coming out. I had no idea what that movie was about when I went to go see it. I just knew that it was the new Arnold movie. I went to go
yeah.
see him because I knew he was going to kick somebody's ass,
That's right.
and it might involve space, it might involve aliens. It's like I had this really vague idea of what I was getting myself into, and I had a good time.
Absolutely. No. But again, people had expectations. But again, there was certain thing is Arnold delivered on his expectations. He knew exactly what he
Oh,
was.
for sure. Yeah, yeah. It's like he doubled down on his strengths. This is what
Yeah,
I do that people like. Let's do more of that.
absolutely. Right. And that's something that again comes to practice. His comedic timing is actually very underrated in my opinion.
I think he's hilarious. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
he's he's awesome.
Right. He's underrated actually. But I don't know he did a wonderful job. Like Kindergarten Cop is probably one of my favorite like movies ever. Just saying. And it's not as like killer. It's not as killer side of him, right? But it's funny, it's entertaining, and he's having a good time. Like sometimes he did movies and you can tell he did movies because they were fun, right? Not
Exactly.
right,
Exactly.
right, and that's just it. Like what you got to realize, I think, in this crazy little business of ours is what are you going for? Because that's important too, right? I'm not going to say that, hey, listen, you might want to be that person that wins all the Emmys, all the awards. And by the way, there's nothing wrong with that. I don't think that's a terrible
Yeah, I mean, and
terrible.
no, well, there's people like that too. There's
Yeah,
enough room
yeah,
for everything. For the
absolutely.
person that wants to be a little bit of everything, there's people for that. For the
I,
people that only turn out like, big award-winning dramas that are serious and like big meaningful pieces. And then there's people that want to do just escapism. Like
yeah,
there's room for everybody. There's no
there's
reason why everybody can't do what they like to do.
absolutely, but you got to make that decision what that is for you,
Oh, for
right?
sure. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. You
yeah.
have to be
That's
self-aware.
yeah. What is that for you? Because you don't look. I want to make my creativity a living. That's basically been my goal, and I'm at the
Hmm.
point now where I was like, oh, basically, I walked contract away from making my first decent year as a creative ever, right?
Uh-huh.
And that was a wonderful thing. Right, this year so far, the start has not been great, and I'm not like again, I'm not saying it to be like, oh, pity me. It's just the way the game goes, right?
Uh-huh.
Right. Sometimes you are kicking ass, and sometimes you're getting your ass kicked. That's just the way it goes.
Oh, that's life. That's life
Yeah,
in general. But
yeah.
if you
So
but if you're asking me like where do I think I fit in as far as like what it is I do or what it is I want to do with my art,
yeah.
um I know where I fit in, which is actually nice to know. It's like this, I do fun escapism. I
Yeah,
don't specialize in doing artwork or stories that are like preachy, or they teach a like a very serious, goal, or a
yeah,
life lesson. Or I don't like to get in people's faces. I just want them to have fun for a few minutes,
yeah. Have a
have a
good
good
time.
time, and know that it came from a good place, you know?
Yeah, well,
And
nothing
it's
wrong with
odd
that.
because like I draw some violent stuff sometimes, and there's nudity in some of my books, and so you don't, for somebody who's not familiar, it's like they don't know what to expect. It's like when I'm writing my keyboard music, I think I'm writing a freaking concerto, but it's like it's just little escapist music, it's just
And
little,
which is
and that's
that's
and
not,
it's fine.
yeah, yeah. There's nothing wrong
As
with
at
that.
least I could do something good, um, that people like, as long as people like it. Um, I'm pretty happy with
Yeah. And
myself.
that's all you can really hope for, really, right?
Yeah,
Is
yeah, of course. It's like,
right. But I realize like it's important. Like I like writing. I like something. I do like a bit of both. I like my comedy, but I also like to make you think, because I think that's an important skill set. I think in
uh-huh.
today's day, like we judge very quickly, and very rarely do we actually look at the whole picture. And I've noticed this about people in general,
Hmm.
right? We like marginalizing and compartmentalizing people, and that's not healthy. And but at the same time, right, you can have some fun with that too, right? And I enjoy the fact that, for example, I can I can have a I have a novel right now that's actually, so here's the good news so far this year. I have a
Hmm.
novel in an agent's hands right now, which is pretty
Sweet,
cool.
dude.
Yeah,
I'm happy
that's
to
pretty.
hear it, man. That's good. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. So, but that novel is me being funny, me being serious
Hmm.
in different parts of the novel, right? It's not a one dimensional thing with me. And I'm not saying your stuff's one dimensional either. I'm saying like for me personally, I like stuff that makes you think, but I also like stuff that makes you laugh, because I think life's absurd at the best of times.
It is.
Right? So, and if you can't have some
That's
fun with
putting it
that,
mildly.
yes, at the best. Well, okay. I mean, again, we're not going to go into politics too much tonight. I'm just going to say this one little thing.
Yeah,
You
sure.
got you have two old grandpas that probably honestly should be playing, bridge somewhere, not right, instead of actually running for, being a president. That's my opinion, right?
Uh-huh.
I think, but it's absurd. It's like the whole concept of it to me reeks of absurdity. But that's the world we're in. We're not in a world um absolute, like there's an absolute right way or wrong way of looking at the world. It is just what it is.
Hmm.
And so it's absurd, like, again, but if you can't find a way to laugh about it, like how do you cope and deal with stuff? I think laughter is very powerful for that. but i also
Yeah,
think the
yeah.
but I also think the best comedies actually make us think.
Well,
That's
see,
what I
that's where I fall as far as communication skills go. As far as like there like without naming actors because it's like this isn't about starting a who said what situation, but
yeah.
um when an actor, what, I'll use a musician as an example because I have somebody in mind, so that way I'll at least I won't ramble too far trying to
Okay, sure.
sort of make my point. But I remember there was a musician when I was growing up, high school age, whatever, and she's awesome. Like her music, everybody listens to every word of her songs. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
she communicates she's just a badass communicating with her music. It's like people truly pay attention to what she says and what the lyrics are, and they're meaningful lyrics, and it's like kind of hidden in
Sure.
80s you know
Yeah.
pop music style or whatever, and or into or like a alternative style. She had more of an alternative style. She wasn't really a pop, like a
Yeah. Yeah.
she was
I'm with
alternative.
you. I'm with you.
But you probably know exactly who I'm talking about because she ripped up a picture of a prominent politically charged religious figure on a episode of SNL.
Okay.
And first of all, she was actually very right about what the general message that she was trying to get out. She was actually correct, but the way that she did it was not through her music. It was
Yeah.
through, these other means of communicating, like, doing a visual standoff or maybe having some talks and this and that. Like some actresses lately have, or actors lately, when they try to express their political views, they're not public speakers. They're
No, they're not.
actors. And they want to get their opinion across, and everybody's I think it's great. Obviously, we all want to be heard, but when you already know that your strong suit is something that people truly pay attention to, and then you go off road and do something else, to get your point across, and then you wonder why nobody listened to you. That's, it's like they actually, for most of us, like, most people don't know what their strong suit is. So they just want, but when you're an actor and you're a world famous actor or a world famous singer, you know that people already pay attention to your acting, they pay attention to your singing. So that's the proper place for you to communicate your views, because people are listening, and nobody's shunning your opinion away like it's not valuable. But when you go and do something different, and you go into a public speaking arena, when you're not a public speaker, you might not be taken as seriously, or you might not be taken seriously at all. It's like, because it's
Sure.
not what you do. It's not your strong suit. Put it that way. You know,
Yeah.
I'm not a country singer, so I'm not going to write a country song about what I don't like about America. You know
Yep.
what I mean? So that's not what I should do. I should probably do a funny comic book, a comic book that has comedy. If I had to categorize myself in the comic book world, I would be more or less a stand-up comedian at this point.
Which
That's that,
there's
and
nothing
it's
wrong with
that's
that.
not no, it's not a bad thing. If I'm a successful stand-up comedian and I can actually get my point across, in using humor, because I'm not in it to offend people. I'm just in it to voice my opinion, or voice my view, or just get something off my chest, or whatever. It's like, it's not about,
So what do you think of this one?
sweet. I like that you made the inside of her skirt like purple. That's
Yes.
actually cool. Instead of just having it red all the time. That you actually gave me a good idea right now. Maybe I should make the inside of that skirt maybe a purple color instead of
Yeah.
the red color. That's actually a
Yeah.
great idea.
Well,
Bro, I'm gonna have to give you a
just
nickel every time I do it now.
yes.
Crap. I have to steal one of your ideas.
Just put me in the book, man. Just say, hey, Josh, thanks for the idea. It's like, hey, that's cool. I'll take that. I'll take that. No, just because,
Color separation ideas by Josh.
yeah. See, now I kind of wish Kat was here because they'd be like, haha, I learned from you. You see, so yeah, so I did. But it's just like, you have to try some. I wanted to try something a little bit. I found a Nira action figure actually. It's like, oh, that'd be kind of cool to do. Like,
Oh
okay,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
but how can I make that mine? Right? How can I make that actually mine? Now, there's some things I do a little different. If I were to do it again, I make her arms a little and her legs. I'd make her. It's odd. I make her legs a little thicker and her arms a little thinner. But besides
Uh-huh.
that, I'm actually not too bad. But like I said, I can see how far I've come, right? And that's really what this is all about.
It is. It's about process, and it's about journey. I mean, being creative,
Mhm.
period, is about the journey. It's
Yeah.
never about the destination. It's all journey. That's
Mhm.
all it is.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter how long you're doing it for. You're still learning new things. You're still mixing and combining things differently and coming up with better ideas or better techniques. Some techniques go away, some get replaced by other techniques. I mean, it's just this never ending
Yeah.
process.
Absolutely. Absolutely. No, and like I said, I'm just like, and I'm having fun. I have fun because, again, folks, Naira was one of the first characters I took to drawing because it's like, oh, that seems simple enough. No, no, it's not. That's like, it's like, nope. No, the drawing that kicked my ass the most, honestly, was trying to do the Lego version of the Ultimate Warrior. I'll never do that again.
Oh, dude, yeah, I guess that would be, yeah.
That kicked my ass. That kicked my ass. It's like, and I don't know what I'm doing. And I totally admit it. Like I totally like, but that's,
Well,
but again,
you know what? I'll admit to you right now that most of the time I don't know what I'm doing. I'm winging it. Yeah, I'm surrounded by good people. It's like, even when I was, especially actually when I was first starting out in comics, but even right now, I have friends and fans that are essentially paying me to get better. You know what I mean?
yeah, no, I totally get. This is what I'm trying to get to, right? Getting people to go, hey, by the way, right? Um, I'm doing my thing, right? And trying to get people to do support it because creating stuff is the coolest drug ever. And I mean that like wholeheartedly. It's the coolest
Oh,
drug
for
ever,
sure. No,
right?
that's my crack. It's
Yeah,
seeing
yeah,
seeing my comment. That was, for the longest time, that was actually, it still is whenever I see it. Whenever I saw my books on the shelf at the comic shop.
Hmm.
That was my drug. It's like
Yeah.
seeing that, and then I'm like, oh shit, I have to do something even cooler. I have to do something better. I have to see, always try to outdo what you did already.
Yeah. Well, you want to go to new places, right? That's part
Yeah.
of the fun too, right? But
Hmm.
it's weird. I hit this really like this is the jello I'm kind of in with my creative stuff.
Hmm.
I don't really care what the end game looks like in one really odd way. And I mean is I have
Hmm.
goals. Like they're like, okay, again, got the book with the
Hmm.
agent right now. I got other things I'm trying to work on. And I'm going through, like I said, right now, creatively, I'm looking for, you know, videos made, promotional stuff, good stuff for clients and stuff like that. I want to get more of that stuff out there. But at the same time, because
Hmm.
I enjoy that stuff. I actually enjoy campaigning. I enjoy the storytelling process of it. I really, really do.
Hmm.
Um, but at the same time, it's just like I realize, you know, I may never have any prestige, right, doing this, and that is amazing, by the way. Like what you
Oh,
did
thanks,
there. That's,
dude.
yeah, it's really, really that's pretty damn
But you
cool.
know what? On top of the fact that I felt exactly the same as you are, I mean, you might be thinking that maybe I think about it a little bit differently because we're doing books and we have projects all year and stuff like that. But there's lots of things even now where I've been swimming in the small press pool, and on purpose. I've worked for larger companies for very small amounts of time,
Hmm.
and a lot of the friends that I've made over the years, they always want to just do their own thing as opposed to being kind of trapped in the larger machines
Yeah.
of and they're fantastic. They're such great artists, and they're happy doing what they're doing, but they also would like to do their own thing. So I've been happy, you know, kind of like being a slightly larger fish in a smaller pool as opposed to,
Yeah, there's
you
nothing
know,
wrong. There's nothing
yeah.
wrong with that. Okay, so this podcast, like I've won awards, I've been nominated for awards, and some of this other stuff, and I just realized that's not why I'm doing it. Like when you actually get these things, you
Mhm.
realize that that's not really why you did this. I mean, it's cool. I'm not going to say
Oh,
like
it'd be cool to win an award. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I think
yeah, yeah. I no, no. I know. I'm not saying like
I've only gotten one statue or one little award for comic books specifically. I'm not gonna tell you about my bowling trophy when I was 8.
hey, listen,
Uh,
you ruled that bowling trophy, Bill.
but you know what? And I'm not whining about this because
No,
I don't have an award because I haven't been drawing things in particular circles, and perhaps actually 1,000%, maybe I haven't earned it. I haven't earned that just yet. So I'm cool with that. I mean, that's something that's just more mountains for me to climb later. You know what I mean? So
sure.
yeah. So I mean, I think I've gotten one little trophy, one little award thing from that related to comics, and it was actually from Fivefinity Comics, and it was
Okay.
back when we kind of like first started out with them, and it was basically for like for giving it maximum effort. That's what I got
A
the award
participation.
for.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah,
Okay, that's
and
cool.
I've got it. I kept it. I got that thing
Hey,
sitting in my room.
you know what? People appreciate being appreciated. I don't like. That's the cool thing about an award. Like, it's nice to feel appreciated.
Right, right.
Um, right. But going back to that ego thing we were talking about earlier, it's very
Uh-huh.
important not to let that stuff get to your head.
Oh, for sure. For
Yeah.
sure. I mean, if like you said, like we were talking about earlier, I mean, it's like, yes, you want to believe in yourself. Yeah, you have to come to the floor with a little bit of ego. You got to be able to push yourself and present yourself and price yourself, and you
Yeah.
got to believe. You got to believe.
You truly do.
But you can't go too far and just be kind of a dick or
Yep.
whatever. You can't go like so far that it's like now it's a turnoff. This
Yep.
guy's just annoying. It's like he really thinks the world of himself. It's like it just kind of pisses me off just looking at him. So you don't want to go that far.
Yeah. No. 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 Like treat people humbly. That's actually how I do it. Like treat people humbly.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Right. Treat people
Treat people like
humbly.
people. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Treat people humbly. Treat your work like it's the
Hmm.
best thing ever, but treat people in the process humbly because like again, this is about like again, pricing is such a mythical thing. Like it truly is.
Oh, it is.
Yeah,
It
right.
is. And it's up
Right.
to the market. it's up to the market, it's up to the masses,
Yeah,
where the numbers actually fall. Don't
yeah,
price
exactly.
yourself all crazy, like either too high or too low or whatever like that. But that's a process. It's all, and it's part of the just like learning the drawing itself, learning how to price yourself. And these days we wear a lot more hats than we used to.
Oh, absolutely.
I used to be able to just sit in my studio and draw and let my publisher take care of that end of things and then send my pencils to an inker who then sent it to another person for lettering, who sent it to another person for coloring. And now I've got to wear all those hats and promote myself and run my Kickstarter. I'm surprised I'm not driving the delivery trucks to actually take it to people's houses.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that's left. I mean, maybe I'll pilot remotely. I'll pilot the drones that deliver the books to the
Right.
fans directly.
Yeah,
That'll be the next step.
but you'd be the guy that would be like, okay, listen, this I'm gonna go to deliver, then just like pull it away, go to deliver, pull it away, and eventually then eventually your customers would be like, Bill.
Here, I'll put this issue of Nira X on the table so that way you can see it.
Nice.
That was from issue 1. We've got the Kickstarter that we have right now is for issue 2.
That is correct. I actually felt really bad because again, my situation being what it is, I can't quite give you the love I want to on it because I really do enjoy your Naira. So I've
Dude,
enjoyed.
the love that you're giving me right now is
Yeah,
worth everything. You know what I mean? It's like, you're
yeah,
sharing it out, we're talking about it.
yeah.
If you share the link, that's
Which
anybody else that's out there. I mean, it's like, if you're not picking up a copy or getting the little digital copy or something like that, sharing the link, talking about it, just maybe showing people that maybe you're excited about it or something like that.
that goes a long
That
way.
means that's everything in the world right there.
Yeah, like
Yeah. So what you're doing right now is it's worth a bit more than you just buying one copy of it. You know what I mean?
oh, oh sure, but like I said, I normally I would be supporting the campaign today with some form of fashion normally, but yeah, it is what it is. No, actually, we veered away from this a little bit. I did want to mention because we started talking about your daughter in terms of being a freelancer,
Uh-huh.
and one of the things, and I told you like, although I understand where you came from, right? I don't think I would be discouraged. I wouldn't even try to discourage her at this point. And the reason,
Oh, yeah, I agree. Not at this
yeah,
point.
no, but there for a couple reasons. Like again, we talked about like all this unsurety in the market, right? All of
Hmm.
this, all the things that are going on right now that scare people, blah 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 blah.
Sure.
Right? The reality of the situation is, okay. There's always going to, okay, even though, okay, like if one day Hollywood gets its wet dream that, hey, you know what, um, we are going to make it so now nobody, and I mean nobody, can everybody. We don't need anybody from anywhere anymore. We're gonna keep all the profits for ourselves. There's still going to be demand for art, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
There always will be, no matter what's
Hmm.
going on. And the thing is, right, whether it's whatever that might look like, people, again, we talked about this. It's not about being good, folks. It's about you. So it's about being the best version of yourself and putting it out there and having a voice. Because if you have a voice, right, people will you will find you will catch the interest of people.
Well,
That will always.
this is why a lot of the AI art stuff is going to fall a little flat. I mean, yeah, its computer graphics look amazing. They do. Um, but at the same time, it's the purpose that we like to share art with each other. It's for the human connection. It's because we're doing something together.
Mhm.
We're kind of putting our ideas together, and it's an excuse for us to actually have an activity
Yeah,
to do
to actually
something
hang out,
cool. And
hang
that's
out.
uh and that's what I tell a lot of my friends all the time.
Yeah,
Especially like making the book. This is something cool that we can actually do together. Unfortunately, as adults, we have to monetize our time because we
yeah,
all have to eat and pay rent and do things like that. So
and stupid shit like that. Yes.
yeah, I just can't show up at your house and let's go ride bikes. It's like we just can't just do that now because we're adults and you got to monetize your time. So we want to make comic books. So comic books cost money, art costs money, printing costs money. So everybody fills in like the little spots that make it possible for us to actually do this. And then we're actually interacting with each other all the time online. We're exchanging ideas. I think it's cool, and luckily, they think it's cool that some of their ideas make it into the book. Sometimes we do, pinups and stuff that's like totally like one of their ideas, or it's a piece
Absolutely.
of artwork that they own. It's like that. That's one of the things that really makes the book possible, is that as I'm drawing the book,
Hmm.
I have collectors that are buying the original artwork as we're going along, and that kind of
Okay.
helps finance things along while we're actually creating. So it's like without all these little pieces,
Oh yeah.
in place, it's like we wouldn't be able to do it at all.
And that's kind of my point is there's always like I don't know about the prestigious places like what that's going to look like in 10 years, but I do know there's always going to be demand for art. And
Oh, for sure.
right, and the thing is, and going and tying this up to what I wanted to talk about there real quick,
Mhm.
we live in a world now like retirement's not there's no guarantees, there's no safety,
No,
it's all
yeah.
gone. So I think you got to encourage people, and I encourage everybody. Like we all kind of need to kind of have an like it sucks in one way that we all have to have an enterprise of some kind. But on the other hand, that's where the world has evolved to.
Hmm.
So right, so the fact that your daughter is going through this now, like better she's like I'm going through my hard time right now, but better I'm going through it now than later because it's going to be easier. Like yes, the bumps, the clips are going to be more pronounced when I do this more. But at the same time, right? I've gone through this.
Hmm.
Imagine somebody, let's say 10 years or 10, 15 years from now,
Yeah.
okay? Going to retire, can't do it because of the cost or AI is taking their job out. They have to start
Hmm.
from scratch,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? And they're going to be doing what Kat's doing, what I'm doing, what you're doing, just whatever that looks like for them, right? So, like, I think by necessity, right? We all have to be, we're all going to become Renaissance men, women, whatever you identify yourself as. Um, we're all going to have to learn our own worth. Ironically enough, we're going into that point in life, right? Where that is going to become, it's almost an old school way of doing things that has come back. We're going to have to learn how to negotiate with each other again. We're going to have to learn how to do things again.
At least
That,
at least we have the internet. It's like if
yeah,
we if we
exactly.
had to if we had to do this back in the 80s, I
Oh,
think most of us would be screwed
most of us would be.
because we just
Right.
don't have that access to the world.
Oh, absolutely.
You know,
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like
it'll be so much harder.
it's a different environment for sure. I, and I say all that to say like, yeah, no, is it going to be hard? Sure, but it's never been easy ever. I don't know, like life's not easy. It never is. It's just
It
you got
it
to
never
figure
has been. Yeah, it was never it was never advertised as being easy.
yeah. So it's never been that. So if it's never been that, then you know what? Don't instead of
It just
wish.
changes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it. That's it. Life has changed. So honestly, I think I would be telling. And there might come a point in the future. I mean, this thing when she has kids, when they
Hmm.
become adults, she'll be like, "Hey, go work for somebody again," because it'll be a different world, right? But the
Yeah,
world
it's
we're
gonna be a
living in,
different place.
yeah, but
Who knows? Maybe the robots will have taken over enough that they actually do start that universal income thing. Who knows?
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
not really
yeah,
sure.
yeah, yeah. It
I
might.
heard some talk about that.
Yeah. Well,
And if all the jobs are gone, it's like I don't know. I don't see the government actually, because they try to tax the air we breathe, which you know what? I don't understand. They make all the rules,
mhm.
they print all the money.
Yep.
Why do they need me? I shouldn't be taxed at all.
Power for power's sake is the same because someone like you because again this is almost a politics problem but What it
Uh-huh.
comes down to is um, they want people to play along, and the way they make people play along is they play the game a certain get people to play the game a certain way. Honestly,
Yeah.
the people at fault, believe it or not, I hate to say it, is us because we let this happen, right? And the fact of the matter is we don't have to, right? But again, that is a question about what we want as people, right? And that for all of us, like all of us have a different, um, we all have different wants, right? And that's something that I think in the next 10, 20 years we're gonna have to have a serious discussion about because I think we've just come to that point of okay, Bill, you and I are talking literally thousands of miles away right now, right?
We're like
Now,
millions of miles away.
totally millions, right? So I
Hello,
mean,
computer.
hello, computer. But because of all this technology, why even have a government at all? Almost, right? We're not quite there yet. We do need some infrastructure, but what does that government look like now? I don't know, right? It
Yeah, it's
doesn't
going to
need,
be interesting.
yeah, it doesn't need to be this, but I mean that's a real discussion, right? That we all need to have at some point. Otherwise, you, I, and everybody else for that matter, we're just going to be dealing with the same stuff all the time. And like I said, Bill, there's not enough alcohol in the world for that. It just isn't. So, right?
I was like, I know, I've looked.
I've looked. I've tried. It doesn't work. You know what I mean? It just doesn't work. So, I mean, that is something I think as a culture I think that is an inevitability that we're gonna deal with. But in the meantime, right, the idea here is we gotta look for what makes us independent, what that makes us able to do what we want to do in this life. And the last thing I think any of us want is to be dependent on a system where, let's be honest, would you buy a car from our current leaders? I wouldn't. I'm scared to. You're like, what's the catch? You know what I mean? I'm just at that point in my life. It's like I don't believe you. Maybe I should be a little bit more trusting, but I'm not, and that's where I'm at. And I know I'm not the only one in that boat. So if I'm not the only one in that boat, we gotta have a serious chat about okay, what are we doing? Like, what are we doing? Why are we doing it this way? But right now we are still in the I want to my guy is better than your guy because of blah 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 blah, and I want to go then I want to drink. You know what I mean? That's what
See,
it comes down to.
that's the only issue that I have right now with politics.
Yeah,
Without talking about politics, I'm going to talk about politics.
that's right. Go right ahead. Go right.
So the thing that I have a problem with, the things that grind my gears in
Yes.
politics, is well, first of all, it's a two-party system,
Mm-hmm.
and the way that it's being pushed, it's always like watching a football game. It's always like watching
Mm-hmm.
two wrestlers. It's not like watching two people that actually have your best interest at heart, or they want to change the laws so that you can afford childcare or have less taxes or have more benefits, health benefits. Now, I don't hear them talking about us at all. It's
No.
the two of them wanting to beat up on each other. One of them for vengeance, and the other one because he thinks that he's more uh, mentally capable or whatever. Both of them are 500 years old.
Yeah, yeah, no, both of them are fucked. Let's be
You
honest.
know,
It's
so it's so without even expressing an opinion about either one of them, because I actually do not. It's not a good choice. I do not.
no, no,
Uh, I'm not
no.
happy about either one of them at
And I
all,
can't blame you. And I can't blame you for
for
that.
lots of different reasons.
Yes.
But without even getting into personalities, without even getting into actual politics, um, both parties need to choose different people, because any decision that these two guys make, they don't have to live with. They're I don't know that they're going to be
Yeah.
finishing their presidency. Whoever the vice
I
president is going to be running the country. You know, it's like I don't know that they're going to be around,
so
or
I
cognitive or functional, or it's like it's scary.
which
It's a scary time.
no, it's a legit and it's a legit worry, right? It's a legit
Hmm.
concern. I so for me, I look at it like this. like the problem is we get caught up talking about the leaders, and to some degree we have to because of obviously how the system works. But the
Yeah,
reality is
they
too.
have an effect on our lives, so we talk
Oh, yeah,
about
yeah,
them.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
No,
yeah. I
you
wouldn't talk
have to.
about them at all if they didn't affect my life on some level.
So I think I like this one better. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm digging that. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep, I'm digging that. But I'm telling you, if I start making the inside of that skirt purple,
yeah.
that's all you, bro.
Yeah, you'll be like, "So damn it! You put it in my head. No, I
Um,
can't
I'm
get it out because
I'm
it
gonna I'm gonna
works."
have I'm gonna have to write it. I'm gonna have to write it down now. I've got this
Yeah,
because I've got like 100 sketchbooks with
yeah,
no organization whatsoever. But I started a Nira Bible that
yeah,
that I can actually put like finished information
yeah.
about certain
Very cool.
things. Yeah, yeah. So it's like I'm gonna have to write down. I have to write down, like for instance, let me see here. There's I have a Cyber Angel.
Yeah,
Oop, let me see if I could find the right page here in my Nira Bible. But I have a Cyber Angel here, Malka,
yeah.
and I actually had to write down my friend slash fan
Hmm.
who created her because she is based on his wife.
Nice.
So it's like she's super happy. His wife's name's Courtney, and is
Hmm.
and she's like really happy, really excited to be part of the book.
Hmm.
But also our good friend Ken, he actually shares Nira's birthday in July, which is like it's like his birthday happened to be in July. The very first issue or the first appearance of Nira happened to be in June, July. So we were kind of like narrowing down what her birthday would be, just giving the character some a
It's,
little
it's,
bit of
it's
world building. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah. No, it's good to have that the background pieces in there for sure.
Right, right, right. And
Right,
it
right.
made it so much more fun to actually have it
Yeah,
uh connected to the fans and friends that are actually helping me put it together because like without them I wouldn't have the book at all right now. So it's
yeah. No,
I
totally. No,
mean so
I totally get it. No, hey, listen. If I gave Naira a purple skirt, I am all for it. Hey, listen, I'm down. It's like say thanks, Josh, for the purple skirt. Be like, that's cool. I'll take the credit for that happily. All right. Before we wrap up, before we go into more fun topics. This is I will just say my only issue with politics today. I just realized this is it's the center of the universe problem. If I'm talking about a candidate, I'm not talking about issues. And I think there'd be a lot more commonality if we talked about issues
well,
than
see,
if we
that's the
actually.
thing. We're not talking about issues. We're not
Yeah,
talking
exactly.
about, yeah,
Yeah,
it's crazy
yeah,
talk.
yeah. No, but that's it. Like we're not really doing politics anymore. We're choosing our favorite professional wrestler or football team or baseball team or basketball team, and as long as that's the case, nothing's going to change. Honestly, the fact that both of those guys are running, in my opinion, is an indictment on both parties. It's an indictment on both of them because honestly,
Just
neither of these guys should be running.
just so you see here in the Nira Bible, I don't know if you can read it because it looks
Yeah.
backwards on my screen, but it says, "Thanks, Joshua, for Nira's purple skirt, 22724."
Nice.
It's in the Bible.
Yeah, that's right. Excellent. Excellent. Excellent.
with
No, and
with
that, and
with the
that and that's
fancy
and that's
Game of Thrones locks and everything. I got it
yeah, no,
hooked
it's
up.
awesome. No, I think it's damn cool. I think it's damn cool. No, it's just someone just told me like she could pull purple off. Actually, you could actually put her in a fully purple outfit, and I think it would actually she could rock it. Holy crap!
She could probably rock it. And here's the
Yeah,
thing: it's her eyes are actually purple.
yeah. Oh,
So
really?
so
I had
that
like
kind of that fits her motif a little bit.
yeah.
So
No, so
I kind of like that. That
actually
ties it together.
yeah, no, or you can play it right. You make the purple stronger, and then like the purple motif on the costume with like little the image of scarlet and red really highlight the scarlet and red parts of her too. So there's ways you could play with her, right? So no, but I think she could totally rock the purple, like totally, right? So and that's something that I was just looking at. I was like, yeah, why wouldn't she have a purple skirt? Like also, I mean, I don't think she'd wear red all the time. Like just it just doesn't quite feel her, right?
Right, and she's had I change her costume so many times. I
Yeah,
think every single issue I make her costume a little bit different, or I give her a completely different bit of costume treatment.
yeah,
I can't there is the one standard look that she has, which is what you've been drawing. That's what her action figure is
yeah.
like.
Oh,
That's
absolutely.
like her standard OG look.
Hmm.
And I usually bounce back to that every once in a while so that people realize that that's her standard, you know, selection.
And I think you have to, like, everybody recognize it, but I mean, I have a see my theory with her costume is I have a theory
Hmm.
with it.
Hmm.
It's built on because of how her costume works. It's
Right.
based on her mood.
Oh,
Right?
perfect. Yeah, yeah. No, no,
It,
that's
it
actually correct. Yeah.
yeah,
If
it's based on
she's really pissed off, it looks a certain way. If she's happy, it looks a certain way. If she's going into
yeah.
battle, obviously it's going to take on some different properties, you know, that sort
Yeah,
of thing.
yeah, yeah. So it's totally it's a mood based thing. So it would make sense that her costume would be in small ways different. Now I don't know if there'd be huge ways every time, right? But I do. It does make sense that like if you want to say like she's having a really bad day today, her costume would
Mhm.
look a certain way, right? If she's
And
but
then for obvious things too, there was an issue where one of the things she had to do was jump into the water and swim. You know, she's like underwater doing something. So it went from her normal red suit to like this silver bodysuit that had like a red bikini bits on it,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know.
So because why not, right? Because
Yeah,
why
exactly,
not,
exactly.
right? Yeah,
She likes
right?
her style. She likes her things.
Yeah, yeah, and that's and that's the thing, right? Because that's the whole that's how you can do it, right? Because again, nobody wears like I wear a lot of the same stuff all the time, but I don't wear it all the same always the same way every time because
Hmm.
that's not how life works. We're
Yeah.
all a little different every single day, so it makes sense that she would be a little different every single way. But also every once in a while, yeah, you know what? I kind of want to return to form, right? Because I kind of I this
Just to revisit it,
yeah.
you know, that little bit of recognition value. You go back to, okay, this is who the character is. Just remember, this is where she started, and then she just has to. She likes to have a lot of fun with her costume. So
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I mean, considering how messed up her life has been, I mean, hey, little bits of fun have to happen every so often.
yeah,
You
yeah.
got fun.
If somebody can find a sense of humor like she has, knowing that your entire timeline was erased,
Well, that's it.
she's been through a lot. So she
Well,
hides a lot of that pain with her humor, and that actually kind of rings true to
mhm.
how I deal with things. I tend to deal with not burying my pain in humor, but I do deal with things with kind of a sense of humor. I use that as my.
Humorous rebellion. Like honestly, like if you can look at if you can get up, like right this minute, like I said, I'm not financially in the best place. Tomorrow that might change, right? But I mean, I can look at the absurdity. Okay, I just came up with a purple Nira, right? Purple squirt Nira, and you're like, Phil's like, damn, I never thought about that. That actually is a pretty cool idea, right? So, and all of which, by the way, to say like to people that are watching, listening to this, the idea was just, you know what? Let's have some fun with it. Let's take the base and try something different. But
Exactly.
it's a little thing. Little things add up. If you can look at the world honestly and go, I love being here. Right? Even if I'm not where I'm happy where I'm at right this minute, I'm happy here and tomorrow's going to be better and life's going to be better and that's your attitude.
Well, yeah,
You,
that's the thing. I mean, you already
yeah.
won. You've already won the biggest lottery that there is. You
Mhm,
exist.
exactly.
I forget
It's like
Gary
64
Yeah, yeah,
it's
Gary Vee
64
likes to
billion to
say that.
1. Yeah.
Right,
So
right. Yeah, Gary Vee likes to say that a lot on his podcast. I don't know if
yeah,
you
it's
listen
true.
to Gary Vee. Yeah. But yeah, the astronomical odds that you exist at all. And yeah, everything in the universe is deadly, can kill you. And here you are in this little bubble where you might be okay for a minute. So make the
Yeah.
best of it, you
Well,
know,
no,
because
and one final thing about that too is it's the ultimate form of hope too, because if you beat
Mhm.
the odds like that, just actually, Bill Maas, what are the odds of you and me having a conversation right now? How
I
many,
know,
but like
right?
how many billions to one, right? It's mind boggling, right?
Right, right,
Right,
right, right.
right. It's mind boggling,
We
right?
only have 8 billion people on the planet, and we just
Yeah,
happened to connect when we did, and you know, and we stayed connected, and every once in a while we can actually talk and interact. You know, it's amazing. There are things to be amazed about,
yeah, yeah,
but
and we take them for granted. A lot of times we
yeah,
just take them for
yeah.
granted, and it's just like, no, man, like that's actually incredible. I mean, look, I've done 1,056 episodes of this show officially, and I've had you on I think 3 or 4 times. I've drawn with
Hmm.
you,
Yep, yep.
right? I think three of the four I've drawn with you, right? I think that's been a regular thing, and I've enjoyed it, and that's a cool thing because I there is a buddy of mine in Calgary that remembers your book. Like he bought it when he was a kid, and it
Very
was
cool.
like
Very cool.
right, and he's just like yeah, and that's my life. Like I get to draw with Bill Maws on some days. The next day, I might have a conversation with someone like, Susan Swartz, who's a
Yeah,
sci-fi
yeah,
author.
that's what I'm thinking too, is like look at all the other people that you've been able to interact with and do something with because you're doing your live streams and because you know what I mean? It's like this
I
you
put
got
myself out
you're
there,
throwing these ripples in the water and
yeah, and
it's
I'm,
you know,
and I'm seeing what happens, and
exactly.
that's
Yeah.
and that's the thing, right? People don't. I think the biggest lesson in this conversation, it seems to be anyway, is put yourself out there and see what happens, and don't do it because you. It's cool to get things for. And this is what I would tell people: don't do it just for prestige. It's nice to get. Don't get me wrong. Don't do it right. All things are possible, but do it because you want to, and do it because you believe you can. If you can have
Well,
that,
well, dude, the bottom line is if I wasn't doing this for a living,
mhm,
I would still be doing this.
mhm,
I would
yeah,
still be drawing comics for my friends. I would still, you know what I mean? Because that's what I was
yeah,
doing before.
and that's
You know,
that's totally
it's
it.
just that before I was making money at a day job. I was working at an art store, or I was working at a car repair shop, or whatever, you
Yeah,
know. So it's like I would be doing this regardless because it makes me happy.
yeah,
So yeah, on some level, it's a job, and I have to make deadlines, and I'm grateful that at least the job that I'm complaining about is the one I would like to have.
yes,
Okay, and maybe sometimes I'm broke, and maybe sometimes I'm doing great, but I'd be doing this regardless. So, whatever it is that you like to do, or, people listening and whatnot, if there's something that you like to do, you like to create music, you like to draw, you like to paint, I mean, do it regardless,
yep.
whether or not you're getting prestige or money or anything else. Do it because it makes you happy.
Mhm.
And then people will see that energy, people will see that vibe that you're putting out, and then you can see where it goes. Life is full of good things and bad things. I mean, that's the whole free will. You
Mhm.
know, the analogy of God giving everybody free will, I think, is because the universe has free will. I mean, we skin our knees and bump ourselves, and yeah, there's lots of bad shit out there, but we also get chocolate chip cookies, and there's friends, and there's pizza. You know, it's like it's there's a balance, and there's good and bad out there. So take advantage of all the good that you can because you're here.
And because
This
you're
is the
here,
time to do it.
and because you're here, all things are possible. And that's
Exactly.
something, that a lot of people, if you're listening to this, might go, "That's not no, that's exactly it. All things are possible." But
Yeah, yeah.
it's about putting yourself in the. And this sounds really corny, but put yourself in the right state for the opportunities to come your way. And I think
Hmm.
honestly, that might be the hardest thing about this life, right? Is you have to you have to sometimes believe it when it doesn't seem like it's anywhere in sight. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
that might be the hardest thing in this life to do.
yeah. I'm not saying, yeah, that's the thing. Both of us are not saying it's not hard
Yeah.
sometimes. you know.
Yeah.
Sometimes I just want to close my eyes and I just want to nap and just
Yep.
wake up and everything's fine. But I notice that when I get lazy and I back off, nothing happens.
Yep.
Okay.
Nothing changes.
But as soon as I start drawing, as soon as I put my stuff out there, make some ripples,
Yeah.
get out, get in touch with people, and more things will happen. And hopefully there'll be good things.
Mr. Bill, I think we have a good conversation here. What do you think?
I think we did good. I think we did
Yeah.
good. This has been a nice evening, an
Yes.
evening with Josh.
That's right.
I feel like we should have been talking with like a glass of wine and a cigar or something. It's like we got all meaningful at the end.
Honest to God, I sincerely hope I get the opportunity to go to San Diego again, like I did last year.
Yeah.
I truly regret not meeting you there. Like it's like I would that would have been cool. That would have been so so cool.
Yeah, I'm hoping that I can make it out there this year again. And I mean, I used to live out there for like 12 years. I live on the East Coast now, so
Yeah, yeah. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a little jealous. I was out there for a week, and I was just like, why would I want to leave? But I understand why you left.
oh, oh, dude, yeah, I had no choice. I had to raise a baby. So I had to go somewhere where I had some family support and it's
No,
cheaper
no,
living and all.
no, no, no.
Oh
Hey,
yeah,
listen.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I get
But
it.
yeah,
Like,
yeah, San Diego's amazing. I love San Diego.
no, like honestly, I could see myself like again. I have to figure out what's go how this next month is basically me figuring shit out. I have no choice. So if I can find a way, I would. I would. I wouldn't even think twice. I would. San Diego's like even when it's even in its quote unquote worst moments, it's not a bad place at all. Like it just isn't, and it's fun. Like it's one of like 3 or 4 places in the United States I would thoroughly enjoy living in. Like it's just nice, man. It
Yeah,
just is.
well, you can't beat
Um,
it.
but that all said, if I did feel like it was the one thing because I talked with Tom, met Alex in person,
Uh-huh.
right?
Right, right.
Alex is hilarious, by the way. I really enjoyed chatting with him.
He's cool.
Yeah, but we were like, yeah, man, the one year you're here, Bill's not. So it's like, yeah, that sucks, right?
It's like
So,
go figure. Yeah, that's oh dude, such a bummer.
so,
And
but
here's the thing, I haven't missed a San Diego show since 1993. 1992. I take it back.
yeah,
I've
yeah.
been
So,
so barring the pandemic, not counting the
no,
pandemic,
pandemic doesn't count. Yeah,
that doesn't count. You showed up at the one time that I actually did not go,
yeah.
which I
So,
was already bummed about. That
yeah.
was
Oh,
that was crazy.
I had such a blast. Like I also like I had 2 weeks notice, right? I had 2 weeks
Mhm.
notice to get ready for this. So I
Uh-huh.
ended up staying in the bungalow. So when I wasn't at the Comic Con, I was at the beach. My life was terrible. I gotta tell you, Bill, it was totally terrible that whole week. It
Oh,
was.
I'm sorry, dude.
You're like, I'm so sorry. And if everybody can't tell, I'm being a sarcastic shit because it was amazing. Right? But yeah, man, I would I'm serious with trying to get on the road this year. I'm really serious about it. I don't know what that's going to look like at this moment in time,
Sure.
but whenever I am there, like whatever happens in the next month or two, 'cause it's gonna take me that long to really figure this shit out. I think. But once everything kind of sets itself up, man, I'm good. Like I said, even if I end up somewhere I don't expect to be. I'm still going to be traveling. We'll definitely have to do the cigar, wine, and drawing thing in person.
That'll be a trip.
Yeah. Well, I have to. Yeah, either wine or Canadian beer because I'm sorry, American beer just unless it's like a craft,
Well, you
it,
know what? I don't think that I've had Canadian beer before, so maybe we'll try that.
it's stronger. I'm
All
just
right,
gonna warn you.
I'll drink it slower.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair warning. You got a Kickstarter. You should probably tell people about it.
All right, well, I'll tell people I have a Kickstarter and then we'll call it a night. How does that sound?
That sounds wonderful.
All
Like
right, sounds
you did.
perfect. Okay, great. Well, I have a Kickstarter. It is Nira X Dark Seas #2. It's from Committed Comics. I think we're just shy of 8K right now. So it's like we got like 20 days left to go. So we got plenty of time for the rest of the campaign to finish up.
Yeah,
But
and
yeah, yeah, please check out the campaign page. If you go to Kickstarter, just do a quick little search for
I
Nira-X at
and I just put the campaign up actually on the Twitch. I'm gonna
nice,
obviously.
nice, perfect,
Yeah,
perfect.
yeah, yeah. I'm almost a trained professional, Bill. Almost. Don't tell anybody.
Mum's the word.
Your
Mum's the
mom's
word.
I don't know what I'm doing either. I swear. All right, folks. This will do it for the night. I have another great guest coming up tomorrow to talk about his Kickstarter as well. It's going to be a fun. It's actually going to be a Kickstarter week because I got you tonight, another comic book Kickstarter, and an author Kickstarter on actually Thursday. So it's going to be a wonderful week for everybody of good chats and conversations. So thank Bill for coming on the show, and for everybody watching, everybody listening. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Stay inspired. Keep shining in the dark, and I'll see you next time.